Aloha, hey, it's Julie Ziemelis, 365 Hawaii and 365 Hawaii Group with Keller Williams Realty. And we are sorry for being a little bit late over here in the Facebook land. And I'm with, who am I here with today? I'm here with
Lance Owens, LUVA Real Estate, and the president of West Hawaii Association of Realtors.
And we were having a little chat while we thought we were talking to our live audience about Lance getting a chance to be nominated to become a top leader, the president-elect, right, in the Hawaii Association.
First vice president. I'm running for that position for the State Board of Realtors. I kind of been keeping it under my hat until the email came out the other day, and everybody knows. So apparently the word's out. So they've narrowed it down to 2 people, and I fly over on December 8th to go ahead and I will do a presentation along with the other person. Will do a presentation on December 8th, and I think we'll know that day who has been chosen as the first vice president, which automatically goes to president-elect the following year, and then to president that year. So
yeah, and then you guys can say that you actually know the president of the Hawaii State Association of Realtors. Yeah. So we'll put a little extra, juju prayers for Lance on getting that leadership opportunity, because you guys know he works so hard to help the legislative efforts in Hawaii. In fact, maybe at the end of this little chat, we can have a little. If you want to bring it up, the cesspool experience again. Okay, so we'll bring that up again. So let's get right into the statistics, because we did have a chat about our Ola brew experience, and we already opened it because we thought we were filming. But
you guys missed the pop of the can.
We did. So Lance is saying this is one of his favorite beers.
This is my favorite beer of the year. This Ola Keawe Vanilla Porter, and this is such a great beer. So
So if you guys like nice and smooth. Eric says it's good too. Yeah. Thank you, cameraman Eric Ziemelis, who also sells real estate. In fact, that's what we were also trying to make sure you guys know. That those of you who are watching this in the group and also on YouTube, that Lance and I sell real estate. Yes, we do. Lance has been selling. Lance has been selling real estate a lot longer than I and Eric have. But hey, we've got our own personality sets, and sometimes Lance gets busy. But we definitely have a group of people around the island that we work with in this group to provide you guys great information, and we really appreciate it if you can use our services. If you happen to be in our Facebook group and you already have a realtor, I want you to realize that most of the time that we ask people who come into our group to not have realtors so that they will give us a chance, all of our partners, so that the work that our partners and ourselves do for real estate education in this group is rewarded by your business. So if you can make sure that you're thinking of us in your next real estate deal, we'd really appreciate it.
What's interesting, I think, too, is over the last few years, there's people that a ton of people we've helped. Let's say Kimmy and I did 39 transactions, and a good probably half of them were because of this group and you guys. So thank you. I haven't been able to even reach out and thank everybody that we know. But with that, it's kind of good because there's been another handful of people that we've actually helped them realize that maybe it wasn't the right place or the right time to buy, to put in crazy offers. It goes both ways. It's not just a sale; it's helping the buyers do the right thing.
Right, being advisors.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And then also, speaking of buyers who were competing really hard in the market and didn't want to spend an extra $100,000 throwing a multiple offer together. Now it's not happening like that anymore, so that's why we're going to talk about this today. So let's talk about statistics and what's happening with the market and why it is actually a good time to buy right now.
Okay. Jump in really quick. So on the residential front for Kailua Kona, because again, we narrow it down to one area. You've got the whole report. We usually put a link to that on there so you can look at the numbers for different areas. And Julie has specialists in each area. So,
right. And you guys can get the whole market report next Thursday at the TTT.
Yeah. Right. So last September 2021, there was 46 homes sold. Last month, 2022, there was 43 homes sold. So a difference of 3 homes.
Yeah.
So it's not much.
Yeah.
So, and we're going to talk about some interesting numbers. So, for the people that just cut out after 5 minutes, we looked at the stats. You're going to miss some interesting information that's going to kind of delve into that a little bit more.
That's called the hook.
But it's a good hook, and it's good to get you educated up to 100% of why.
So let me ask you though, on the 46 home business, people are saying we're heading towards a more normal market now. right? But you have seen how many more homes on the market back in the
She's
day?
jumping ahead of the game already.
Okay, you're gonna go there? Okay.
Let's just go there. Let's just jump right in.
Because
We're
you've
gonna go
seen
there.
46 homes sold in a month.
Uh-huh.
What was it a long time ago? 100?
Well, it was 46 in the crazy market in 2021. It was 46.
Yeah, but it seems like it's 46, 46. Is this just that's what sells during this time of year?
Yeah, that's kind of a normal. I don't see any pattern. I actually don't have 2019 on the number of homes sold, but I did go back in some other areas. You know what? I'll jump into that real quick.
Okay, just because just to kind of like apples and oranges, with what's going on with how many homes are available, because we keep talking about lack of inventory. In fact, I looked at a blog post I wrote for the Association of Realtors back in 2019, and we were talking about inventory issues even then.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Okay. So really, I did this for the association the other day, so I'm going to give you the west side of Hawaii. And people are like, well, what does he mean by the west side of Hawaii? So let me show you real
look
quick.
at this. What? Look at this, you guys.
So there's the east side of Hawaii and the west side of Hawaii, and that's blocking the mic. That's why there's two different boards of realtors for it, and they basically have these territories. So now that you know that, so these numbers, just in this one case that we're going to talk about right now, have to do with the entire west coast of the Big Island. So 2022, there was 131 homes that sold. Okay,
for the whole year so far.
The 100 homes and condo. No, for last month.
Just last month.
For,
okay.
Yeah, for the West Coast area. So in 2021, there was 191 sold. So that kind of answers the question where you were going with that, right?
Okay.
So, but let's go back to 2019. 2019 is a normal year. We can't use 2018 because 2018 we had the volcano.
Oh, that's right.
That was an irregular year. So 2019 there was 138 homes and condos sold. So we're close to 2019 numbers.
Which is great.
Which is great. Yeah. It's a good place to be. So, and just out of curiosity, because I've been doing this for close to 19 years now, the worst year, people talk about 2008, the crash and things like that. And it actually got the worst time here was January of 2009. And in the whole West Coast, 33 homes sold.
That must have been horrible.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
You had 500 agents and 33 things sold. So
that's when you start pulling your hair over your head, going, "Oh my gosh, is life going to get any better?"
That's when I decided to be a specialist in short sales because that was going.
And just so you guys know, that's how I met Lance. Actually, was that one of our family members had gotten in trouble with the condo, and I googled short sale condo Kona, and Lance's name came up, and I called him. I go, "Can you help me?" And he did. That's the reason why we're friends all these years later. So
yeah, and so when people and that was a great meeting. So that was awesome.
Yeah.
But when people talk to me, I've had people ask me if I would teach a short sale class, and going on. I said, I don't see that coming. I said, I think this is going to be wasting my time and your time because we had a question come in for that, so
somebody asked about
short sales. Are they becoming short sales and foreclosures? What's going on? And so I don't see that coming. And let me jump into the other part of those numbers I gave you. So the 131 homes that sold this September, 60% of them were financed, right? That's what got me started on this whole thing is because everybody says the interest rate is going to kill buying homes. That's going to take it down. That's what, it's going to change. It's going to be a game
Especially
changer.
for people who are trying to finance.
Yeah.
Because there's still cash deals in the market.
Yes, there's still cash deals on the market and things like that. So I said, well, you know what? Let's look at it and see. Now we know the number's gone down from 191 to 131, but what's the percentage? Did that change in numbers? Was that all people that were financing? And we still got the cash buyers. So I went back to 2021, and guess how many homes were financed in 2021?
Not too far off.
60%.
Perfect.
Exact same
Just
number.
the same numbers.
Exact same number. So I went back to 2019. Well, let's go to a regular year and see what's going on here. So in 2019, 56% of the homes that sold were financed. So
and that was like low interest rates.
It was low interest rates. It was good. They were lower than they had ever been, I think, at that time. Of course, 21 was even better.
Yeah.
But 19, it was, I think it was a good year, good time, good normal to find out. So, of course, curiosity made me go back to that 2009.
I've seen that number. That makes sense.
Yeah. So in 2009, to me, it was hard to get a loan, and banks were imploding left and right around us. Hawaii changed a law that anybody buying a home and the money transferred over had to season for 2 days because they were wiring the money in the morning and they were imploding at lunchtime.
So by the time that they thought that wire was going to come over, the bank was already out of business.
Yeah. And so, of course, it's insured. Wires are good, but it would take months for the title companies and people to get their money straightened out, that stuff. So, so it was very difficult, So at that time, 69% of the homes bought. were financed.
That is so weird.
Yeah, it is weird. So interest rates aren't killing the market, okay? It's the same percentage. Recession's killing the market. Other items out there killing the market, but it's not the interest rates killing the market.
Right.
It's exactly the same or a little bit more. People getting loans from 2019.
But when we say killing the market, the market's not even killed.
No,
right?
But
so people
that's
think
where
that.
if you open up the newspaper,
the
you
newspaper is
open
going
up
to
the
tell you that.
internet, and anybody shopping for homes, I'm sure Google's watching all your searches, and they're feeding you those, and you're clicking it, and you're opening it, and they got you to do the clickbait.
Right, lots of clickbait going on. Yeah, and we keep talking about the fact that they kind of click you in. Like I saw one on like CNN today. You know, home prices, like or home values or whatever. And then you read it. I clicked on it because I just wanted to see what they were saying, and it had nothing to do with home prices and home values and everything else falling apart. It was the fact that the interest rates are rising, and it could staunch the flow of buyers into the market. And then they went off on inflation and what the Fed's doing with the rates, and they didn't even hardly touch on what's happening with the housing market because they just got
you to open it and get
right
there.
They did. So and at the end of the day too, what's not getting out to the media is the fact that people aren't having to spend $100,000 over asking, fighting with 20 other buyers, right? And so you're actually when people are saying, well, prices might be going down, well, you're not spending 8, 10, 15% over asking to get into a home.
Yeah.
Right? So that gives you some leeway in terms of value right there, right?
It does, and that means a lot, and it gives you time to look. We're not having, it was an absolute a year ago at this time. If we didn't drop everything and go look at the house when you guys called us,
the house was gone.
It was gone, and so it was very, very hard. We were running like crazy. So
and the buyers are running like crazy. And they're freaked out and stressed out. And so I like to say this is a more
everybody
normal
was
market.
Freaked out and stressed out, and your title companies couldn't keep up with the closings. It's funny because they're calling us to wine and dine us again, and it's like, so the market has slowed some and it's gone down. So again, we're looking. You got to remember that Kona's more of a destination area than certain parts of the West Coast. Obviously, not more than probably Waikoloa Beach area, Montalani, and those type of things. So we're maintaining again from 46 to 43. That's not even enough to really, talk about it being a difference. I don't think.
Right.
But we look at the West Coast here. 191 to 131 is a difference, but we're back to 2019 numbers. But the thing is, in 2019. Our absorption rate was right around 21%. For those of you guys that are new to this, 15 to 20 is a normal market. That's a fair market, anywhere from 15 to 20%. Below 15% is buyer's market, above 20 is a seller's market. So we were at 90%, 98%. It was 102%, I remember 1 month.
Oh, for the sellers?
Yeah, for the sellers. So it's just that's beyond off the charts. So we're getting a little off course here, but it's good. No, it's okay. We want to look at absorption rate right now for condominiums is still at 90%, you guys.
Oh, wow.
So
the condo market's still on fire, yeah.
So, in 2019, we would have had 130 condos for sale, and we've got 35 today when I looked this morning.
Yeah.
So it's 35 condos available, makes the absorption rate at 90%. If I look at West Hawaii, or North Kona, basically. The overall for homes, lands, and condo, because they group it together, is at 54% absorption rate. 52% absorption rate. So that's still, we're over double into a buyer's market.
Right. So that also answers the question that some people have is, if I buy now, how do I know that my investment in that piece of property is going to remain safe? It's like we just constantly have this constant demand, right? And it's been a seller's market for a long time.
It has been. We've been sitting at that 21%, so it's been at the high, at the leading edge of being a seller's market for years, before COVID.
That did us a job, right?
Yeah.
Between COVID and the lava flow, I don't know, it's crazy.
Yeah. We got. So we don't know what's going to happen next. Nobody knows, but I mean, you just got a past performance gives you an idea what to look for.
Right, what the future looks like. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about prices.
Prices jumped.
Okay, did you go through? I'm sorry, I have the ADD of interviewing.
We didn't do the condos.
Okay, gotta do the condos.
Condo market, you guys. Sorry, the condominiums. 39 sold in 21 and 28 sold this month. But again, our supply is down.
Totally down.
They're
Yeah.
totally down.
We
So
have
it's like,
somebody looking for a condo right now, and she's every day, she's on the internet.
Yeah.
Something coming on, something coming on,
Yeah.
and there's just not a lot out there.
No.
And the stuff that came on, like today, I saw it Caravan.
Did you go by Kona Pacific?
Oh, yeah, no, that's another thing. That's $599 or something crazy. 500.
5 offers on it already.
Already?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! And that condo complex was like not the most desirable. For
Kona
a while.
Pacific?
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah,
So, okay.
yeah, no, good one. That's a
Okay.
good one.
Okay.
Brad has a question that says, what will change the supply side of the equation?
Okay, Brad asked a question of what's going to change the supply side of the equation, and that would be more building, which is not going to happen anytime soon.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, like we've always said, the volcano buildings coming in, and there's nothing significant coming in. There's that thing down on Lee Drive, and I forget how many homes are going to be in there. 20 or something.
Yeah.
58.
Oh, 58. Okay.
Yeah,
And a lot of them are starting to sell, actually.
Yeah.
yeah. 3 or 4 have sold already for $1 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But I'll give you guys a little insight. One of the reasons that they're not going to put a whole bunch of high density housing for more condos down near where they think they can actually build it at the base of Koakini is water rights. So
Yeah.
water is holding up most of the development in Kona.
and we're actually, I've got a special meeting tomorrow morning at 8:30 because we got to talk about that Kona seaworm thing that's going on, and they're trying to take away the water rights again, and they're trying to. People have reached out to us and say if this goes through, it is going to kill any new developments happening. So, and it's got a good chance of going through. And this came up out of left field. We're working on obviously cesspool problems, and that's coming up. They're throwing that at us again this legislative year, and so we've got to. I'll know more next time we talk about what's going on.
Yeah,
but
because if we
we
can't
need
get the
testimony.
water,
Yeah.
get this, you guys. I've been doing a lot of like research as a average schmo on this island, trying to figure out housing. Why don't we have more housing? And to see it all boil down to water.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, everywhere in the world.
Yeah,
Everything's
it's
boiled down.
resources.
Yeah,
Right? And so when you don't have water, you don't have life. And the people that are controlling the water opportunities don't want to see us in the same predicament that Maui's been in, right, with losing water. But on the other side, I heard that we actually have pretty good amount of water.
we
We're a
have
big
so
island.
much water, and they're trying to take that rights away from us. They, if you have any interest in that at all, look up Billy Kanoy. He was our mayor a few years back, 6 years ago, I think. And they tried to take our water away back then. And he did such an eloquent speech on it that to this day, it just I just listen to him just to hear him talk. He uses a lot of Hawaiian terminology, and he's brilliant. And it's sad when he passed away, but he you got to watch that video. It's a YouTube video, and watch him talking about the water concerns. I'll try to look it up and post it. When we're done.
Because and again, here we devolve around this whole experience.
We'll talk about prices.
Yeah, we'll talk about prices in a
Sooner
second.
or later.
If we're not building new housing, we don't have a good society of young, middle class, older people, the whole schmeal, and it changes what was here even 10 years ago with what is available to people. And I'm not even just talking about healthcare anymore. I'm just talking about your server giving you a cup of coffee down on
Exactly.
So, but yeah, so, if you guys have been watching this for a while, we'll just keep talking about all these different things. But we'll finally get back to the numbers.
And I'm gonna jump off track here one more time because I think this is important because when the world was worried about coming out of the rent restrictions and things and the moratorium on eviction moratorium. I saw a different picture, and I was screaming. I was standing in the corner screaming, and nobody was listening to me. And it's turned out to have come true. Because I reached out when this was all coming about. I'm like, I don't know anybody that's not paying the rent, and I've got some listings, and I got people that are mostly paying the rent. So I reached out. We got our company's got a whole bunch of rentals on Oahu, and we got a big presence on Oahu, and we've got some on Maui and then here. And I checked with all of our rentals, and not a single person was late. Not a single person had missed in that whole eviction moratorium and everything else. So I'm like, I don't see the problem. That's not going to be the problem. You know what the problem's going to be? When this ends, the mom and pops that have been scared to death, that have been one-off landlords, they don't have the wherewithal. They don't have the money and savings to cover a mortgage payment if somebody doesn't make it for 3 or 4 or 5 or 6
That's
months,
right.
right?
Yeah.
So they couldn't cover. They're scared to death, right? That ends, and it's like boom. They weren't kicking out the people that were late or hadn't paid, because there wasn't a lot of those. They started kicking out the people that were paying on time and took care of things, and because they wanted to sell the place.
That's right.
They wanted out of being landlords.
Yep.
They were done, and so it was.
So we've lost a lot of our rental properties.
So we've lost our rentals. They've turned around. They've sold them at huge profits.
Yep.
And
God love them, because private property rights.
Yep.
Yep.
So,
but now we are short.
Rentals.
Hard.
We don't have apartment complexes here.
Right. And so when people, in fact, one of the questions was, is the best thing to come here is rent for a little while to figure out how to buy a house? It's like, well, good luck finding a place to rent.
That's it.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, and sometimes when Lance and I get together, I don't know, maybe because we're having an old brew, we get kind of sad on the housing future. But the thing is at least the people who I have heard coming, I'm hearing nurses coming. I'm hearing firefighters coming. I'm hearing some good people that we need on this island.
Yeah.
And, we help them as much as we can to figure out how we can make it work for them to be able to be here and buy a house so that they get to be part of society. And, with you guys, especially the people on YouTube, sometimes people say, oh, realtors, all they're doing is selling this island. It's like, oh, we try and help get the good people here to make it good for everybody. Right?
Yeah, we're not
teachers, and
the sellers are selling, and
the sellers are selling. We're just the project managers
helping.
of the transaction.
Yeah.
So
So all right, we're gonna jump into the to the actual pricing now. So a year ago, September, the median price for homes was $887,450. This September last month, the median price for homes were $995.
So they've gone down a little bit. There were $1 million something per moment there a while ago.
Yeah. Year over year, we're up, but year to date, we're down. Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Year to date, well, it still shows us. Sorry, year to date, we're still up to 15.57. At $1,069,000 is year to date.
Okay, so that's still there. Okay.
So it's still over $1 million year to date. I think we're going to see some more trends. Oh, I'm guessing here, but I think we're going to see some more trends of just under $1 million in the median pricing on that.
That's good. That's good.
And on the condos, median price was $430 a year ago, and it was $590 last month. Year to date, it's up 33%. Year to date on condo prices.
So interestingly enough, we had a couple people say a couple years ago, "I'm just going to wait for the market to get better." And then they waited. And then they said a year later, watching the prices go 15-20%, "I'm just going to wait until the until it gets better."
Yeah.
It's not getting better. It's like, if you're sitting on the fence buying a condo, and that's why the condo market's on fire, but buying a house too, it's a good investment right now, right?
It is, and it has been for since the beginning of time.
Yeah,
the most
real
solid
estate.
investment.
Yeah.
You take away the crash of 2005, which was a big abnormality that really wasn't abnormal if you looked at what caused it. But it is that's not happening. So again, being there and people asking me about short sales again and what's going on, and being there when I saw it happen last time. And I saw you saw the writing on the wall. You saw things happening. I was getting called to do BPOs, which is a broker price opinion, and I started looking, and it was some people. There was a lot of realtors that had invested in property back then because they were buying up. That's when Kona Sea Ridge was coming out, and Lee Ilani and these complexes were all new, and these guys were pre-buying them, the realtors, because they saw the market going up, and they were into them, no money. They'd gotten 80-20 loans, so they had a 20% loan and an 80% loan, so they were into it, no skin out of the game.
Yeah, remember those days? Remember those days? Yeah.
Yeah. So they're not doing that now, and that hasn't happened. You got these people coming in, and you guys are coming in with big chunks of money. You're putting down huge down payments or paying in cash, and a lot of times it's 30 to 50% down if it is finance. And remember, 60% of the people finance, 40% of the people pay cash.
Right.
So it's not.
It's not 100%. It used to be 106% financing back in the day. Remember that? Yeah.
So 103. And that's how I got in the market. I got a USDA loan, 103%, and it paid my closing fees and everything else. I had to buy down my rate, which seemed crazy. It was
back then it was like 6%.
It was 9%, and I was able to get in the USDA at 6.5 with a buy down.
There we go.
So
yeah.
And that people didn't believe me. They didn't believe I got that cheap of a mortgage, loan.
Yeah, it's interesting. Speaking of cheap mortgages, as we continue to keep like bouncing around, we had a woman talk to us today from the mortgage company, and the Marla and Scott Wynn team has talked about this before too. Is that buyers can approach sellers on asking for a little bit of help.
Yeah, instead of wanting a reduction in price or asking for credit, because the loan companies are getting creative to where if it's a seller credit towards buying down the interest rate, it's allowed.
Yeah, so you can actually get a lower home payment when the seller actually helps you by buying down the rate. Yeah. And then that way they don't just lose money off the bat of lowering the price of their house. Right. They can actually win, and also the buyer wins as well.
Yes.
So if you guys are in that position, the Win team can do that, and we also have local lenders on island who can discuss that with you as well. But it's when the market's changing.
Yeah. When they're offering
products like that.
So that is very interesting. So we hit all the pricing numbers and the sales. So I want to jump into another thing that I had found on the statistics when I was trying to find out all this other information. So it's like, overall, from 191 to 131 was I think a 25% drop in the amount of sales for the West Hawaiian. Looking at the numbers, actually, so in 2021, 315 new listings came out on the island. Okay, this is island-wide stats that I'm jumping into now. In 2022, for September, only 220 homes came in, or 220 new listings came in on homes. So that's a huge difference, you guys. That's massive difference from how many homes came on the market. So we talk about the numbers going down, and people think, well, I'm going to sit on that fence and I'm going to wait because, they're selling a lot less homes now than they are. But you got to look at the listings stop coming too.
Right. In fact, we have a woman that was looking at a really great condo. Mm-hmm. Can I say the story? Okay, I can't say the story, but I'll just kind of give you I'll give you the gist that people are waiting for the prices to come down. Mm-hmm. And waiting for the prices to come down, they're losing opportunities. Mm-hmm. Because people are still saying, I still want to move to Hawaii. Yep. And we've got people who are retiring, who they're losing a day of their life every day they're not living in Hawaii. Yep. And also they've sold their homes on the mainland and they have no place else to live. So they're saying, you know what, I'll just do it. I'm just going to come in and just buy that condo or house because I've already left everything I have on the mainland to come here, and now they're in limbo land. Yeah. And they're like, you know what, I'm tired of being in limbo, and I'm just going to go in there and buy that condo or that house. Yeah, so
exactly.
Eric has a question.
This is just a general question. Is fall a quiet time in real estate in Hawaii?
Okay, the question is fall a quiet time in Hawaii?
So, we've got a little lull between now and so it is a little bit of a lull here. The vacation rentals are empty. Ironman's gone. They aren't.
Thank God.
Don't even go there. I promised I wouldn't talk about it. So, like Mom always said, no, I'm good.
The only thing nice to say, don't say anything at all.
So the so we got that lull now. We'll have a Thanksgiving bump of people, and you got to remember, of a lot of the transactions that we did on our side last year, many of them were people from the mainland. So they're coming in on these vacation times as times off that they have, things like that. And that's when they're looking at things, and that's when they're putting in offers and buying. Or that's when they're at least coming here and like, okay, now I've touched Ali'i and I've touched Ali'i Cove and Kona Sea Ridge. I know what those complexes are like. Mm-hmm. So they go back home and they start writing offers as they come on. Right. In December and things like that.
Yeah. And we had 2 or 3 people actually. We gave neighborhood tours to them last month because they wanted to get a touch and feel of the different neighborhoods. That way when something comes on, they're familiar with it is. So when they see it from back home, they go, I know exactly where that is. Yeah. Now I can make an offer.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
And we're able, once you do that, we're also able to tell them, hey, you remember we came in the north entrance of that one, and this is over towards that area, or this was really close to the pool that we walked you by, or things like that. So it's good. So that's what we're going to see. So we're going to get the winter group, the snowbirds that come in, and the little bump there. So it is going to be a little bit slower, I think, right now.
Yeah. In fact, I put a hot sheet on the group. If you saw that, and you saw quite a few price reductions. We call that the sellers were not understanding where the market was, and they have a new and improved pricing. Yeah. So this is actually, again, it's a good time to buy because you're not competing with the snowbirds that are coming in January. and you're in that I didn't quite make that summer market. Oh my gosh, the prices are, life is changing a little bit. There's not a lot of buyers in the market right now. Prices are softening a little bit, but who knows what's going to happen in January, right?
Right. Yeah. We just don't know.
Because we still have plenty of people want to live in Hawaii.
Yeah, and they do realize. I mean, they're retiring, and this is more of a snowbird town. We don't get the college kids coming here much and things like that. We're
like nothing at all. No.
Yeah. Yeah.
In fact, I was in Vermont last week. I couldn't believe how many young people I saw because I'm so not used to seeing young people. I'm like, that woman is 21. Why is she like, the stewardesses were like 21. I'm like, there's nobody, unless they're working in hospitality, as 21-year-olds doing anything like big. Yeah, because we have, I think the average age on this island is like 55.
Probably.
Yes.
Yeah. So it is. So it's a different crowd. So it makes us a different market than what you're seeing.
Definitely. And you know what? Speaking of younger people, Amber was here yesterday with me talking about the East Hawaii market, and she's young and beautiful and not under 40.
We were having a conversation.
Yes, I'd rather sit next to Lance in these things than Amber. But a lot of young people with families are moving to the East Hawaii.
She wants to sit next to the old ugly guy. So,
But you know what, though? When I sit with Amber, it's so great to see her enthusiasm for saying how much it just this island brings so much life to her, and knowing that it's, again, I love Hawaii. You can in fact, you were saying, you know what, I just get a better appreciation for living here every time. We love living here. And you know what, and again, sometimes we get kind of sad about the housing situation, because it would be great just to bring more vibrant people into the to the island as well. And so of course that's what we want for the society, and we don't want overdevelopment, but we just want a good mix of people. Yeah,
good energy and good things coming in. I know I moved here when I was 40.
I moved here when I was 40 as well.
Yeah. I think Amber's about...
Yeah, she's 39.
Okay, yeah.
So it's that's that age. If you can be there. And you're in your prime and everything else.
Yeah.
But that's another thing, too.
I've had like 4 or 5 different boats since I've been here. And jet skis, and I used to dive and all that stuff. So.
And I remember one time when I was 42, I was sitting out there having a glass of wine in front of the Four Seasons. And I wrote in my blog, I'm high-fiving myself that I got to be here before I got old. Yeah. Because if I had to wait until I was 66, 67 to retire to be here, I'm already getting older. I'm not swimming as much as I used to. I'm not diving. I used to snorkel all the time. Yeah. Yeah, and then I'm up here. The ocean's beautiful today from up here. Yeah. So I've
turned into a mountain man.
Yeah, you have. You sit on a mountain too.
I'm in jeans. I didn't own a pair of jeans for 2 decades. And I had them for riding a dirt bike or something. But now. And so it's as your life changes, everything changes with it.
So it's so funny though, because a long time ago I would never have said this when you and I were talking about like the 10-10-10, the best place to live. The higher you are in elevation, the less likely you are to go down and watch a sunset at the beach. Yeah, you hang out watching your view, and you're in your cool environment, right? And I remember when I first moved here, when people say I haven't been in the ocean in like 6 months, I'm like, what? How can you live in Hawaii and not jump in the ocean? And here we are.
Here we are.
Yeah. In fact, I told Erica now that things are starting to slow down a little bit with the buyer's experience, and we're putting a little bit more time into like refreshing some of our marketing, that I really want to just jump in, go down to Magics. In fact, one of the things I was going to talk to you guys about, there's a couple things that are happening around town. One of them is that there's 2 things I whine about in this town. One is lack of housing, and the other one is how horrible our bathrooms look. Well, they're going to tear down that crappy little bathroom at White Sands Beach, and they're going to actually put up a brand new comfort station, as they call it, with new showers, and it's going to be beautiful. And they're going to finally take care of that eyesore of a parking lot they closed 3 years ago, and they're going to actually renovate that and bring in more of a cultural aspect to it. And it's going to be a beautiful experience down there, because when we also are trying to show off our beautiful town, and our town needs to look beautiful. Yeah. And so it's going to be so great when maybe some of you who have been off island for quite some time. It's going to take a little bit of time to make it all pretty. Yeah, it's going to take a while.
Just like I know. Build a bathroom and build a parking lot.
Don't get me started on how fast people move. At least they're moving.
So if you want to know what's going to change the housing market in a new building, it won't happen fast.
When we tell you guys how hard it is to build a house here, well, you can see how long it's going to take to build a bathroom. So you can see where we're at, and they are the counties. So, but there's some things going around downtown. In fact, there's some new events that are coming back. There's two big ones that said, "Oh my gosh, it's been 2 years." There's going to be a great free family event for Halloween down at Lonnie House Center. And we have been offered a booth for the 365 Hawaii group to do a food drive for the
Awesome. Cool.
Hawaii Island Food Bank. So if you happen to be on island, or if you want to donate, we're taking donations because obviously there's still quite a lot of need on this island. So we're trying to help the food bank. And then also we have a big run coming up, Pu'uva'a. If you guys see some of our hiking videos, Pu'uva'a is known as a jello mold. It's on the way out of town, and it's like this, and they're going to do racing up the side of it. Eric is actually thinking of doing it, so we're going to see if that happens.
Good.
But there's also, my son's having a big fat pancake breakfast where they're expecting 500 people to Kona Waina. They haven't done that for a few years.
Oh, wow.
And then also, there's golf tournaments happening. The Kona Dance Company wants to do that.
Shirt Festival?
Oh, the Aloha Shirts Festival actually starts today. It's going to go for this weekend, yeah. So if you're around, they're doing vintage Aloha shirts. We learned a little bit about the Kohala Shirt Company. They were one of the first ones back in the 30s to do the shirts, and Eric bought a couple, but not the vintage ones. But we hope to maybe run through there and do a video on that as well. But lots of cool things happening right now in Kona. And we got some new stores opening up as well.
I started collecting a couple of vintage shirts, some old Rin Spooners, some really old ones, and some cool ones. And I got this Aloha shirt book. If you're interested, there's a book. It's called the Aloha Shirt. Yeah. And it's a really cool book, and it's good. Unfortunately, I outgrew those. I supersized too many meals, and so I don't fit into those anymore, and I've since passed them off to other people.
Oh, those are collector's items now.
Yeah. But it just, I hated to see them just sit in the closet.
Yeah.
But I would like to pick up some more, and it would be neat to see that. And when is the Kona Coffee Festival?
Oh, the Kona Coffee Festival is actually in November. I think November 12th. So, in fact, we're going to...
away.
Yeah,
okay.
we should do that as well. That's going to be a 9-day festival. If you love Kona Coffee, this is the time to be there, is in November, because they're going to have cupping contests, and the farms are going to be doing different kinds of experiences. Hulualoa, they usually do one night where you get a chance to walk through the booths and get a chance to taste all the different coffees that are coming out of Hulualoa. And again, so the cool thing is that Eric and I want to make sure that more people get to know about some of the cool things that are happening around town. So we are doing a video community events calendar, as well as I'm writing it down for my blog, and so that way you can read it or you can watch it. And we hope to reach out to different event organizers and to get more information to be able to share with our viewers, so that you guys can know what's happening in the in the West Hawaii.
I'm going to tell you, I had a recipe that I wanted to enter into the Kona Coffee Festival. They have a cooking thing too, cooking with Kona Coffee, and I always want to do it. One of the coffee companies reached out to me and said they'd sponsor me to do it. This was years ago, right? But I just thought it was so cool, and I'm going to give you my recipe really quick, because it's a 6-hour smoked rib. So it's ribs, and I would soak it in something like, this time I'd use the Ola brew. Ola, call us again. So I would soak it in the Ola brew overnight, and then Cavi porter, and then I would rub it with a coffee rub, and then I had a friend that would give me the peppers that were grown here, the hard pepper, the grinding kind of peppers, So I'd put cinnamon on there, Hawaiian sea salt, and coffee, but just a really good coffee rub over the whole thing. And then I would take coffee wood when they cut down the stumps. I had a whole bunch of tree stumps, and I used the wood for the smoke flavor.
Ooh.
So, I wasn't using Cavi wood or anything. I was using, so it was like the most authentic meal you could have, and I want to do that at the Kona Coffee Festival. And of course, they've stopped it the last couple of years, and then this year I'm going to be in Florida, I think, so it's not going to happen this year. But if you want my recipe, well, I just gave it to you, so.
Yeah, but so how many people get a chance to actually use cut down dried coffee wood from Kona? That's a little extra of woohoo.
Yeah, exactly.
But you can definitely get the old Ola Brew Kaiwi Vanilla Porter. But you know what? This is probably not available. Do you think this is available nationwide?
I don't know if this is or not. You guys will have to let us. This might be a local thing.
So I'll give you guys a thing. If you use Lance or myself and Eric for real estate, we'll make sure you get a 6-pack if this is your closing gift. And maybe he'll do a barbecue. Okay, Eric's got a question.
A couple of people are chiming in over here.
Okay.
Sorry, guys.
One is Brad is saying no cats or rats running across the table, and Julie maybe you can fill in on that.
Yeah, let's just say that we okay, so I'll tell you guys, we had the inspection company come, and one of the things that they talk about in the inspection company is don't let foliage run up against the roof of your house because rats will come up. And so didn't know this.
Expressway.
Exactly. So I grew a papaya tree next to the house. It just randomly started growing. I was like clapping all the way up as it started growing up to the roof, and it leaned against the house, and lo and behold, rats, right? So then we had a rat problem. So we cut down the tree, and the day we cut down the tree, I'm laying out there going like this, and I see a little rat face looking down at me, going like, how am I going to get down? And I'm like, oh, you rat little bastard. So so they found out and then someone said, a rat, all the rat has to do is stick its nose in someplace, and they will figure out a way to like break through. So they got into the roof and they came down, and they came down. So last night at 4:30 in the morning, we hear the cat chasing something. We hear my daughter yelling, ah! Brought the rat up on her bed, and then like gave it a good fatal bite, but then it crawled under her bed, and Eric had to like go and find it. So I'm like, oh my gosh. And then this afternoon, thinking Eric's like this, we're done with the rats. I poisoned them all. We're all set. Middle of the day, all of a sudden, I'm at my desk and a rat comes running through below me, and it's a cute little guy, this big, but the cat's kind of chasing it, and it runs up the cabling. It gets up on our desk. So Eric has to go and get the tongs because get this, you guys. If you move into Hawaii, get some good tongs because you're going to need them for centipedes, cockroaches, and rats. And so you may
want to dedicate a pair to.
So Eric took the tongs and grabbed the little rat and went like this, and threw him out here. So he didn't have to kill him. He just got rid of him for the time being. But we have sealed up all the holes and stuff. But in my Coda Newbies group today, I put the question was, tell me your pesky pet issue. Pesky pets. What's it called? The pesky pest stories. So all these people started telling stories about this stuff because it happens in Hawaii. If you live in Hawaii, you're going to deal with some different kinds of things. But yeah, so that's the funny thing about what happened, Lisa. Yeah.
Okay, and Brad's chiming in. He says, "Look like Ola is available in Southern California, but nowhere else."
Oh,
okay.
Okay, they have to get the distribution up.
One of the other questions is how would you decide? Would you come and live for a year at a place to figure out where you want to do? What are the strategies for coming and trying to buy? Because renting is very difficult. So what are the strategies of trying to figure out how to rent here first, or if not, or how to move?
I mean that is a great. In theory, that's the best way to do it. Absolutely, and that's how I did it. And did you guys do it that way too?
No, we bought a house right off the bat.
Yeah.
Because there was no rentals then, because it was 2005.
Yeah. So I had the ability in 2000 when I moved here to rent, and I rented in a couple different places, and was able to make my choice. And I can share with you that experience, and you can find out if that's like, oh yeah, that's maybe I don't want to live over there or out there, because here's the reason I fell in love with several areas.
Like going to paradise.
Yeah, and I still love it. We're going to argue about this till the end of time. So, but there was different things, I mean, like the thing that changed us there was my wife got bit by the neighbor's dog, a good deep gash, and we had to go to the hospital, and we had a newborn at the house, and she's like, I don't want to live that far from the hospital. I can't do that. So there's there's something right there. But lo and behold, we moved into town, and it took us about the same amount of time to get to the hospital when I got bit by the dog in town. So I
haven't heard that story. Yeah, because it takes 25 minutes to get to the hospital from Kona.
Yeah.
But that's the reason why they're trying to build a new hospital.
Real briefly, it was back in the short sale days, and when the banks had kind of contracted me to do cash for keys, basically, is what we were doing. So the program, Obama's program. And so I would go knock on doors and give people an alternative instead of the bank putting notices on their door all the time and things like that. It's like, hey, the bank has offered to give you $10,000 to $30,000 to move with no penalty on your records, nothing else. I mean, it'll be a 2-year thing. And it was a good alternative. There's no single person that when we got through with that wasn't happier at the end. So you know, it's hard having somebody knocking on your door and the bank's doing that stuff. And
Yeah,
just
that was a
calling.
horrible time.
Yeah, so it worked out, and not a single person was bad. But anyways, one of the houses I went to go knock on the door, I yelled from the street, and nobody answered. Nothing. I had to at least put this envelope on the door of the house, right? There was a beware dog sign there, but I yelled, and I'm like trying to get the attention of this dog, and there's no dog around. So I'm like, okay, a lot of people put up those signs. I get closer to the carport, and I yell again, and nothing. And I'm getting halfway across that carport, and this old junkyard dog sees me. He was sleeping on the left-hand side. He sees me. I see him. He lunges towards me. I start running backwards because my only bet was to knock him off with my hands.
Yeah.
And I can see. I mean, this is like those things, you know, when your light flashes before you, and you can just see how long it's gonna be. I can see his chain or his cable getting shorter and shorter. He's almost coming to the end of it. And I'm running back. I knocked him one way one time. But he came at me and he caught me just before the end of his chain, and he ripped open my brand new Christmas shirt, ripped open my flesh and everything else, and I'm like,
gosh.
you know, and he was as stunned as I was. I don't think he ever made contact with anybody before because the poor dog was there. So I went up to the hospital, and so they were in the course of the hospital. They wanted to call the police. They wanted to go after the dog.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't give them the information. I'm
Really?
Like, it's my fault.
Well,
They had a beware dog sign. I was on their property. I felt horrible. I'm not going to let him go put down their dog. The guy had his dog on a leash, you know? I mean, I tried to do everything I could to minimize the effects of what was going to happen to me.
oh, Jesus.
So, anyways,
so
it took me just as long.
So that gives you there's some dogs on this island that mean business too.
Yeah, exactly.
So okay, so our producer Eric Ziemelis is giving us a wrap up sign. So is there anything else that you want?
I think that's it. I think I'll just look through here really quick. You guys,
real quick, hold on, just see if there's
the absorption
any crazy outliers. Real quick, I noticed that people some land is coming back on the market. I think some people are starting to realize when doing some research that trying to build here is difficult. Do you think that might be some of the reasons why maybe land is coming back on? Or
I think so, and you guys have noticed that I haven't given a land report in a while because I just think it's at this point in time it's a terrible investment at this point in time. If you want those numbers, I got them for you. They're on the hard copy of there. You know, a year ago we were helping people get into land, and we had a great experience building ourselves. I got firsthand experience. If you want to talk about it, that's all there. But but at this point in time, with these permits are taking up to a year now,
right?
And contractors and supply chain, it's the worst thing to do at this point. But if you want to buy it further in the future, if you're not going to build for 5 years, and you want to look into that, you know, let's talk land because we still do it.
Yeah.
There's one came on the market the other day, and they offered $1,000 drawing for realtors to come out and show it to people today. Now, it wasn't your everyday piece of land.
Yeah.
$65 million.
$65 million. It was 23 acres.
400 acres.
400 acres. That's it.
400
An
acres.
entire subdivision south of Kona Paradise, right?
I think it was north of. I think it was on our side of Kona Paradise, I believe.
Really?
Yeah.
So there you go. At least someone's selling a huge piece of land, and maybe homes will be built back down there. So
it's going to auction
Eric's like this.
with no reserve. It's going to auction.
Oh
with
yeah,
no
they're
reserve.
going to auction it off. Yeah.
No reserve auction, and honestly, that $66 million, in my opinion, is
way overpriced.
10 times too much.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So if you have a couple $1 million bucks and you want to try and buy an entire subdivision worth of land,
because there's no reserve,
Yeah. You know. Okay, so Eric's continuing to do the
wrap
wrap up.
All right.
So with that, you guys check us out next Thursday. We're going to be doing the third Thursday at 4, not 3. And we're going to have an island-wide update. And bring your questions, and we're going to do that. And let's not forget, you guys, we sell real estate, okay? Lance sells real estate. Eric and I sell real estate. If you are thinking about buying or selling a house, please reach out to us. We'd appreciate your business. With that, we will say,
And Brad adds, and so ends the Lance and Julie story hour.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, you guys. Have a great night.
Have a good one.
Aloha.
Aloha.